Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to take a look at David's collection, and it's an interesting one. It's a small collection, but each watch has its own little story, so we'll get started on it. And the first one we're going to look at is this Hamilton, and it's called a Khaki King Scuba, and it runs on an ETA 2834-2, and the watch is very special to David because it was his wife gave it to him for a Christmas present shortly before they were married, while they were dating, and subsequently they were married. So it's a very special watch. It's a cool watch too. I really like the way they have the big 9 and the 3, and it's you get at a glance. And then they have the day of the week up at 12 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock they've got the date. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, by the way, today is Cinco de Mayo and Derby Day. So it's like margaritas and what do they have at the Kentucky Derby? Mint juleps. So I ordered for a double boost. Tonight we go to a Derby Day party, and the rest of the day I'll just celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Got my Day of the Dead shirt on, and it doubles as a San Diego Padres shirt too, so I'm all set. All right. So anyway, so that's the first of David's watches, and it's a good looking watch. I like it. And so anyway, we'll move right along here. Okay, now, this next one is a quartz watch, and it's a Subaru watch. It's got a Subaru logo on it. When I take my car in for service, I hang around, and one of the things they have is that they have watches with the car logo on it and so forth. I haven't gone for that one. This one is it's very cool. He loves Subarus, and for good reason too. They're actually a very good car. My wife had one. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. I traded a Rolls Royce for a Subaru. I had a 1980, what was it? I think it was an 82 Silver Spur. Car was it's a long wheelbase saloon Rolls Royce, and I had that, and we had it for a few years, and we used it to tool around New England and got to know it and join the Rolls Royce Club. But it was not a practical car, and that thing leaked. The whole model leaked hydraulic fluid. So anyway, we took it in and traded in for a brand new Subaru. It was my wife's car. So anyway, I told her, well, she's got a Rolls Royce worth of Subaru. All right, moving right along here, something a little more relevant. Now, this watch I really like. It's a stoah, and it's called a Stoah Marine Original. Now, if you take a look at that watch, if you look at the dial on it, you may remember from a couple of videos ago when we were talking about Thomas Ninkrist watches. And I was talking about the two different Unitas movements that he used. He used a 6498 and 6497. And you should be able to tell from the dial which one he used, because only the 6498 had the dial at 6 o'clock. Okay, small potatoes, but what the heck. All right. And the way they did this, they did it a lot the same way that Thomas Ninkrist did it. They have an exhibition window. They put in some different finishing. They put in some Geneva waves and shined it up looking pretty nice. And then they put in a swan neck regulator, and they also put in a screwed movement for adjusting, an adjustment screw in there. So they took the Unitas 6498 one, added the swan regulator and then the finishing plus a regulating screw. So you got more than just somebody slapping in a ETA 6498 or you need a 6498. Love the looks of this watch. It's nice and clear. It's really a very, very nice watch. And when you look at the movement matches the size. That's another thing I think that's very important. All right, so the Stoah Marine Original. This one was a new one to me, and I really like looking at it. All right, going on, we come to Panerai. In Panerai, I always get a little antsy around Panerai. I love the looks of Panerai. The classic looks. I like the Luminor line of watches. And what Panerai does that drives me nuts is that they have some of their watches have in-house movements and some of them don't. And the movement in this one they call the OP9 1X. But what it is, it's the Valjoux 7750. Nothing wrong with the Valjoux 7750. Why not call it that? It's just, it wouldn't get me like, come on, guys, it's a Valjoux 7750. That's a nice caliber. You can't charge as much as you might like to and claim it's high horology because it's not. You get a good looking watch. It's an automatic. You got a power reserve indicator. You have small seconds. You got a nice little Cyclops window there for the date. Beautiful watch. I've even come to accept the crown guard. At first I didn't like that, but it's grown on me and I sort of like it. And the looks of this watch I think is gorgeous. I mean you have that, but it's like I said, it can sort of drive me a little nuts when you have that kind of stuff going on. Beautiful watch though. All right, this next watch is an honest to goodness Seiko with a Bellmatic. And you can see the little pusher up at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right in there. And it's got the day date in it and a nice big window. It's a very cool watch. It's a very different watch. It has the alarm, and it's pretty old one. It's 1968, all right, but it keeps really great time. I mean, there's something about that watch that I really like. Okay, now the final watch is another one that I have issues with. All right, I don't have issues so much with IWC. I have issues with the fact that they don't tell you exactly what's inside. Now, this particular one is another example of a watch with a Valjoux 7750. It's called the IWC 3707. They've really done up the movement nicely. I mean, it looks very nice. They have an exhibition window. And the exhibition window looks like it fits pretty well, even though the movement itself is 30 millimeter and the case size is 40 millimeter. That'll give you about 5 millimeters around the sides on that one, between the movement and the case. But it doesn't look bad at all the way it's in there. And IWC watches, this particular one, I like the looks of it. I like the titanium case on it, and you know, it's IWC doing what IWC does, and the same thing that Panerai does. You got IWC with IWC movements, which are quite good. You got Panerai with Panerai movement, which are quite good. Now then you have what I call the hidden movements. In other words, they're mislabeled, and they just don't come out and say, hey, this is the Valjoux 7750. It's a good movement. We're not going to charge you as much as we charge for our in-house movement. Enjoy it. Well, why can't they do that? It drives me nuts. Okay, that's me though. That's not everybody. All right, But look at the collection he's got. It's a small collection. This is it. There's like 6 watches in this collection. They're nice watches. The Subaru watch is quartz, I know, but it's fun to have a watch with a car watch with that. Speaking of watches, I have my this is my Panerai Kalpa Grande, I think XL, and I wore it because it goes with my blue shirt, my Day of the Dead shirt. All right. Okay, so where do we go from here? David said, "Well, what would you recommend?" And he was thinking about getting a Jaja Lecoultre. Jaja Lecoultre Master Control. I think is a good choice. I think the bigger size Reversos also is a good choice. And here's the thing about Master Controls: you can go to places like Joma's shop and get them. Just take last year's model or a model that they're not making anymore, but is in condition zero. In other words, it's brand new, and get it for a very good price. Now, the thing about Master Controls, they start at a really good price. You can go down to the AD and pick one up for $5,700, brand new, and you're getting a high horology watch. So David's guess on that was spot on. But what I would probably do, because for the same price, you can find one of these. You can go out and you can find a condition zero Parmigiani Kalpa. And you might even be able to find some Tondas and some of their other ones out there. Again, you're talking about a model that is an older model. We're talking about stainless steel. A lot of the ones they have that used to come in stainless steel don't anymore. My Hemispheres, which I just love, Parmigiani Hemispheres, doesn't come in stainless steel anymore. It comes in gold. The gold ones are quite nice, but they tend to raise the prices on it. Let me see what else. I always like the Harboring 2. I've noticed that the Harboring 2 Felix, this is sort of their entry-level in-house movement, the A11B, those have been going up in price. And you can't find them on the used market. Mine and another guy I know who got one, we paid around $4,500 brand new from an AD. And now they're going for about almost $1,000 more, $5,500. That is a really, really good buy. Here's my Felix. They keep beautiful time. They're fantastic watches. And that would be another way to go, too. I think you could really get a good one. Sometimes, here's another one that people don't think about. And this is a stainless steel Beauvais 1930. Now, they haven't been wildly popular, which doesn't surprise me because they are unusual. And yet they're fabulous watches. I mean, like, really fabulous watches. And so the price hasn't held. Now, to me, I know a lot of people says, "Well, if it's not going to retain its price, how come?" Well, okay, if you're a flipper, maybe you wouldn't want to get one. But the thing is that the price is already pretty low on a lot of these because this was originally 20,000 or it was 19,900, something like that, and the prices, you can find some really good buys on this. So this is something, just sort of consider something out of the ordinary. Another one I like that I recently discovered is because it's new, and some people don't like these watches, and this is a Tudor. This is a Tudor Black Bay GMT. They sell brand new AD price for $3,900. That's with the metal bracelet on it, which is another thing that's nice about that. And I think you can get them for around $3,300 brand new with a leather bracelet. So these are some other options you might think about, because right now you have a collection, a lot of nice looking watches, but if you can slip into high horology, or certainly if you like the more sporty model, something like a Tudor, I think it'd be a good direction to think about. I like in terms of the Rolexes, my favorite Rolexes. I like the new Air King because they put in the Milgauss type of movement and anti-magnetic stuff with the 3131. And those are some things that you might want to think about too. All right. Okay, I'd love to hear any suggestions you have for David. Say, hey, look, maybe this ought to be something. There's a lot of stuff I may not have thought about, but anyway, this was actually I was going to say I was going to wish everyone. I hope their horse wins at the Kentucky Derby and they enjoy their Cinco de Mayo parties. But when you see this, both Cinco de Mayo and the Derby will be yesterday. So anyway, I hope to see you again next Friday. Until then, this is Bill Sanders with Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection. By the way, too, this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like.